Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Kristian Vasquez Show. Today we have a special guest, my good friend, my buddy, Joe Thompson. Joe Thompson is a second-degree Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. He owns his own Brazilian Jiu Jitsu studio.
School Academy.
And it's called Lockdown BJJ. It's amazing. It's located in Lake Ronkonkoma on Long Island. And here we are. Joe, welcome to the show, man.
Chris, I want to hit your mic here.
Yeah, man. Good. So, Joe,
Chris,
man.
first I want to say thanks. A real honor.
I appreciate
to be here with my buddy, man. You know, I love Chris, man. I love Chris to death. This kid is just awesome. Awesome person. Awesome boxer, trainer, coach. I remember when when we first met over at Unique.
Yeah.
You know, just the energy level that you bring is just amazing. Positive influence and a great role model for the kids out there today, man. Keep it going, kid. I love your place. I love what you did here. It's awesome.
Thank you so
Inside
much.
and out the gym, and this just amazing, man.
I appreciate
so
it.
proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And that's why I had you on the show, because I feel the same exact way about you. You know, you're an inspiration. You know, I don't know too many guys your age that do what you do or can do what you do. And, you know, I think that having you on the show to express that and show everybody who you are could definitely inspire others and motivate to, do the same thing or do something more with themselves.
That's good, man. Thanks.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean it. I'm glad you're here, and we're going to rock. We're going to rock.
Let's go, man.
Let's do it. So, first I wanted to just have you introduce yourself. You know, how did you get started in jiu-jitsu? What was your inspiration to even get involved?
Yeah. As a kid, I just, I was always... I grew up in a rougher neighborhood.
Right.
Grew up in Hollis, Queens.
Hollis, Queens.
So as a kid, you had to learn how to defend yourself somewhat. So I got into, my father first put me in karate. I did some boxing when I was a little kid. Then you come up and I did wrestling, went through school, all of that. Did Tae-Kwon-Doe.
Right.
And all of that. And got my first black belt from YH Park in Tae-Kwon-Doe.
Okay.
Then I got a black belt in American Combat Karate as well. Then I studied karate for years and years. And then in the 90s, when all this came back with the MMA and the UFC, everybody was doing martial arts and they were watching this on TV. It was like, oh my God, this is great. I got to learn this stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, I could do that. And I remember walking in, and at the time, I was a big jacked up juice monster.
Yeah.
At 230.
Yeah, but you also a bodybuilder.
I was a bodybuilder.
Professionally.
So in the 80s, I went into that whole self-bodybuilding stage, a little into yourself stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a part of who you are. You're always challenging yourself, even from day one you did everything, but you did everything to the fullest.
So so in the 80s, I kind of stopped with the martial arts and I got into the bodybuilding. I went down and I won the Eastern Long Island Championships. I won the Westchester Championships. I went to the Junior Nationals and got smoked.
Right.
It was like everybody on stage was just one,
a whole other level.
Well, great chemistry.
Yeah.
Chemistry projects right on stage.
Right.
Everybody looking bigger than the other. But I just remember doing all that. And it's being so subjective. That's why I went out of bodybuilding.
Right.
I give everything. Everything I do, I try to give 120%. I go at it full force, and I want to be the best that I could be, and it's kind of yourself too, right?
Right.
When you take on something, it's just like I don't want to do it mediocre.
Right. You want to go hard.
I want to go hard. I want to do the best that I can do on it.
Yeah.
Right?
You got that natural competitive
I'm going to
spirit.
jump the gun on this one and mess you up a little. I know one of the questions you wanted to ask me but it plays into what we're talking about. So
go ahead,
one of the questions you wanted to ask me is how I judge success.
Yes.
Right. So that's the reason why when I get into most of these things and I drive myself to be the best. The way I measure success, people measure success through money and physical objects and championship belts if you're in the combat, sport like we are, or titles and all that garbage, and that shit doesn't measure success. What measures success is being the best the best you can be.
Right.
Just because a person's never been a world champion or they've never won a title doesn't mean that they haven't been successful.
Right.
I've pushed myself beyond the limit that anyone or I expected myself to go, and I've pushed myself beyond that. And that's what I try to do with everything I do.
Right.
I did that with the bodybuilding, and and reached a point where I didn't want to be in a subjective sport. I wanted the outcome to be judged by my physical ability or my ability.
Right.
Right. If I won or lost, it wasn't because it was someone's opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
It was how I performed.
Right.
And on that given day, whether I won or lost, that's what I mean about the whole success bit. Whether you win or lose, if you gave 100%, you're successful.
That's
you
right.
achieved. You became a champion that day. I'm going out on the world's. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning.
Really? Are you leaving tomorrow to the world?
I leave tomorrow to compete
Oh,
in the World
awesome,
Championships on
man.
Saturday. My fight's Saturday.
Your fight's this Saturday.
Yeah, I fight on Saturday.
Oh, that's
On
awesome.
Saturday.
I didn't even know that.
Hopefully the old bastard can bring home another one.
I'm gonna have to get this up early. Beforehand.
We'll give you all those. You can post the Flow Grappling. You can watch it on Flow Grappling live stream.
Okay.
But I'm bringing down 2 of my students as well. Both guys who are older guys in terms of yourself.
Okay.
But younger than me.
Right.
But everyone's younger.
Well,
than me.
just so everybody knows, Joe is
60.
60 years old.
60 years
60
old.
years old. I'm just gonna interject. And
I'm on the north side of 60, which means I'm approaching 61 very shortly.
Wow, good. You look great. You take care of yourself. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Joe has a career that he works during the day.
Yeah, I'm an engineer. I run the engineering department for LifePath. I'm the service activation department, really, for 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah, I work full time.
Full time. He owns his own jiu-jitsu school, academy, and he trains himself to compete. And you've been at this for years. You haven't stopped. And
20 years.
Your drive.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, I'm admired by your drive, and you're motivating. I mean, anybody out there that's just sitting on your couch and you're like, oh, I got to get something going in my life, and you're in your 40s, your 30s, and you're not doing nothing, this guy should be an inspiration for you to get up and do something, because he works a full-time career job. He owns his own studio, teaches students, and he's competing at a high level. So, Joe, I just wanted to give that props. Nobody really knows.
Thanks, man.
I don't know too many people that know that, man,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So you're a 2-time world champion.
2-time world champion. I'm a 2019 European champion. Thought I was going to defend it this year, but thanks to COVID, we kind of got sidetracked on that.
Right.
But 2019 European champion, and I'm a 5-time Pan American champion. I just competed in the Pan Am Games 8 weeks ago.
8 weeks ago.
I just got back into the competition thing 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
After, with everything going on, with the lockdowns and the,
Right.
the COVID stuff and, sports being stopped for a while, we weren't allowed to train, let alone compete.
Right.
So when it came back, everybody was like, well, I got my COVID weight on.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what started me with, I'm going to do the Pan Ams.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up, I'm going to do it anyway. I had 4 weeks notice, and I'm like, I'm going to go and do the Pan Ams.
Right. How'd you do at the Pan Ams?
I took second place in my division and second overall.
That's great.
Second overall. So
Awesome.
I did well.
Yeah.
I did well. I would have liked to have done better first. Would have been nice.
Yeah.
But, I gave it 100%. The original goal was to lose the 30 pounds I put on during COVID, and I did.
Good. So you reached some
I had
goals?
some COVID weight on, bro.
Did you?
So it was rough. It was rough. But it doesn't come off as easy at 60 years old.
No.
But you know what? Again, that's just, when we talked about success a second ago, it's just who I am and what I like to encourage the younger people to do.
Yeah.
Not so much younger as much as some of the people up and coming, the kids that, I train a lot of kids, and I want them to, at least see that whatever you do or whatever you want to do, give 100% at it and go at it hard.
Right.
Enjoy it. If it's not enjoyable, don't do it.
Yeah.
At that point, you're going to enjoy it and have fun, and just give it 100%. You can achieve whatever you want to do. You gave me a lot of accolades right now about you don't know a lot of people who could do what I do. Anybody could do what I do.
Yeah.
Anybody could do what I do. It's a matter of wanting to do it.
I agree.
Matter of wanting to do it. Find something you're passionate about. Like me and you are sitting here right now in this beautiful studio you built here.
Thank you, bro.
And your beautiful gym, because you're passionate about it. Yeah. Right? There comes a time in life, like when we're, right about your age. How old are you now?
41? 41, 25? No, 41.
No, you're not.
I'm 41, bro. Yeah.
There's no way.
I just turned 41 in July.
Well, look at this kid. He's giving me accolades. He's 41 years old. He looks like he's 20.
Good genes.
To 25 would have stuck with me,
Yeah.
kid. I would have bought that. But the only thing is, I know you for so long. I would have been 15 when I met you. Then.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, Joe.
that's amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you, bro. I try to stay.
Amazing.
I try to keep healthy, eat good, try to exercise as much as possible. Try to keep a young mind, young spirit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you drive and you push, and if we found something we're passionate about,
Right.
And your passion comes out just like sitting here and talking right now to me. Even you can see how passionate you are with this and with your boxing and helping others.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be about, right?
I think you get a lot back when you help others.
I come from a generation behind you, but we come from a generation where the combative sports was a little different. We fought to get out of an area, to get more out of life.
Right.
And this is the only way that we knew to get out of something.
Yeah.
Now combative sports are beyond that, right? So you still have people that, they grow up, you're a product of your environment, and you're in an environment that you want to get out of, and the only way out is I don't have the means for an education or all of that right now, but I can fight my way out because physically that's what I've been doing, or mentally that's what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah.
And physically I can do that.
Yeah.
So they go and they fight their way out of a certain place, and they become successful.
Right.
Now combative sports has become college graduates and everyone else doing it. So it's not even just to get out of something anymore. You got an education behind it. It's gone beyond just being a tough guy
Right.
or having a lot of heart. There's a lot of knowledge that goes behind any of the combative sports, MMA, whether it be MMA, boxing, Jiu Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, any of that stuff.
So true.
You got guys that are just so technical because they're so
Intelligent.
They analyze everything. Everything's broken down to a science now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see that in like these new upcoming boxers because I watch boxing like all the time.
Right.
So I see like these young up and coming boxers like just gonna mention some names: Shakur Stevenson, Chris Colbert. I mean, when you watch them, I feel like they're like a whole new breed of intelligent fighter. Like it's a whole nother level, and watching them is beautiful.
It's poetry in motion, right? It's elevated. I mean, the sports are elevated.
They are.
And the thing about when the generation we came from, when you come out and you fight to get out of a place, and you fight in your whole life. I don't know if you watched the post that I put up the other day. Everybody does it. I don't really do that. Don't do Facebook and Instagram. I definitely never tweet President Trump. But if you watch my post, I only use it for my business. I use it for the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and how to encourage some of the people and get people into the school and hopefully influence them in a positive way. But anyone who's been successful, anyone in life that I know who's been successful has struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Any successful person has struggled. They've come from something that's driven them to push them beyond.
Right.
So, with those struggles come strength.
Yep.
Same thing. So the generation we came from, I think we want to give back.
Right.
Because now we're at a certain point in life, at 40 years old and at 60 years old, we're at a certain point in life where, we're still doing what we do because we're passionate, we love it. You have to earn a living, right?
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We're lucky enough to earn a living in what we're passionate and what we love, which is very rare to do.
Yeah.
And we can give back now. And one of the things I pride myself on, I know I see it in you, is wanting to give back to the kids in the community.
Absolutely.
Give back to some of these kids and have them, have more, push themselves, or learn from the mistakes that we made, right?
Yep.
The funny thing about learning from the mistakes we made is like I sit there now and I listen to myself talk to these kids, and I have all these little kids I have students that range from 3 years old to, I call them my kids. I have 57, 58-year-old men, and they're still my kids.
Right. Because, they look up to you, right? So they're kind of like your kids.
Yeah.
You have that, not authority, but that leadership over them where they feel like,
Well, I hope it's an influence of some sort.
A positive influence.
Listen, as we go through life, and everybody's this way, you've made mistakes, you do some things, you've learned as you grow, and you want to share those thoughts with them, and then hopefully they can learn from them, not make them again the same ones,
right?
And they can become better. I want everybody who walks into my school, or anyone who meets me, to be a better person than I am.
Right.
You know, definitely, you know, be a way better person than I am. Give to the community, help others out. You know, don't make it about yourself. It's not a self-centered thing. You know, one of the things I love about you, I love about my professor, Alexander Solka, who's a 10-time world champion.
Wow.
And one of the most remarkable men I know.
Right.
Is and even Renzo Gracie, you know, one of the most remarkable men I know. Those guys and you, very humble. You know, humility goes a long way in life. So you want to teach those kids, you know, some of that as they're being successful. Be humble about it, as well. You know, just as easy as you achieved it, is as easy as you could lose it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but I hear myself talking to these kids and trying to guide them. And then they do the same thing I did when I was a kid with my father, right? You remember, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting there, your father's lecturing you, and what are you doing?
Yeah.
Short.
Yep.
And go off and do whatever I'm gonna do anyway.
Right. So, you know, some kids listen. Some kids definitely like, you know, they appreciate that, you know.
The only way you learn is by mistake, trial, and error. They're gonna learn on their own.
Yeah.
But, you know, you come back in at least a few thoughts in their head, and hopefully they're successful.
They'll remember that one message, you know, over years. Oh, I remember when Professor Joe said that to me. You know, I remember when Kristian said that to me. You know what? I'm going to do that, or I'm going to follow that. I have a little kid that comes in here, and he's always excited to be like, hey, coach, I'm reading this book about Muhammad Ali. Hey, coach, I'll do mitts with him. And he gets so pumped up when he's done. You know, so those little moments, I know you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they're fulfilling. Just seeing these kids light up, you know, it really means a lot.
Right, when they come into the school, and I got a lot, you know, little kids, like that's the best part, right? Working with those little ones, because they're so eager to learn.
Yeah.
I got an 11-year-old girl right now who came to me when she was, she's been with me, I don't know, so it's 4 or 5 years since we left the other place.
Right.
So she's been with me since then. So 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
Remarkable, man. She's question after question after question. You know, something about the little girls a little more than the little boys. They're so inquisitive.
Right.
They sit there and they're staring at you the whole time. They're listening. They're paying attention. And the little boy's off on the second corner going. Ooh,
Yeah, I think because the girl
touching right now, little boy be sitting here going, "Let me touch the mic."
That's we're babysitting those kids.
You'd be sitting there going, "What's he doing? Don't touch the microphone." I told you not to touch the microphone.
That's funny. Yeah, I think girls, they just feel like they have to prove so much more because, you know, boys, not saying this is the fact, but boys normally in past dominate sports and so forth. So I feel like they just got to work. They think they have to work a little harder.
I think the energy level is a little different with the boys.
Yeah.
When they're that young. They're just little boys are a little bit more like rambunctious, and the girls actually
A little more mature.
Yeah, they're definitely much more mature. They're thinking things out a little more, from what I see. You know, so with them, like with this little girl, she came in. She's 6 years old, asking questions. She first walked in the door, didn't want no part of it. She saw people rolling around on the ground, and she's like, "Oh, boys rolling around on the ground, sweating on me."
That's how I feel about that.
So I'm like, "Oh," she so focused, even at that age, to be the best that she can be.
Right.
You know, we talked about, like I said, success, the best that she can be, reading on it, watching videos on it, coming back and asking me questions on it. This kid's 11 years old, comes into my adult class. She's gifted too. Listen, she's definitely gifted,
Right.
Because she's 11 and she's, well, anybody's taller than you, but she's she's tall. She's not as tall as me.
Yeah.
She has
That's
both
tall.
her parents are tall, very skinny girl, but
Right.
she gets on the mat and she'll beat the living pea shit out of the adults.
Good, man. You got a little gem on your
Technique,
hands.
Oh my God,
That's
this
awesome.
kid is incredible.
Does she aspire to do MMA at all? Or?
Right now we're focusing on her with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
I mean,
she's
someday
young.
she might
She's still
wanna,
young, so.
Do the striking. That's why, with the striking piece of it, I'm trying to get involved with people like yourself.
For sure, man.
And your cousin.
Yeah.
And hopefully bring some people in that can do some striking with them. I do the basics with them. You know,
Right.
I do, even though I have hands experience and I fought MMA professionally and all of that, you know that.
Yeah.
And I do enough so that person, if you were in a self-defense situation or in a real street fight, which we hope they never are, is that, you can get your way through it, because no fight ever starts on the ground going 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Right. Yeah. It starts on the feet.
Starts on the feet. You got to get it to the ground.
Right.
So you got to know a little bit of everything. As many tools in the toolbox as possible. So I get people that come in and they talk about different martial arts. What's the best martial art? Should I box it? And I don't knock any combative sport.
I don't
They're
either.
all good.
That's right.
I mean, you got to put as many tools in your toolbox as you could possibly put.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you're passionate about, which road do we want to take.
Right.
If you're, you're gifted standing up and you want to be a boxer, then you should pursue that and be a boxer.
Right.
If you want to do MMA, then you got to learn all of it.
Yeah.
And I have to learn a piece of all of it. We go through the conversation. We could debate. People will debate on this for, well, what's tougher? Is it an MMA fighter beat the boxer or the boxer beat the MMA guy?
Well, it's obvious. You're on the ground,
On the ground.
I think the stand-up
guy.
is a superior stand-up to me, but
I think in the MMA, and this was kind of, well, not really proven, but it was close to proven because I don't know how much of it was hype.
yeah,
But with that Conor McGregor and
Mayweather.
fight, right? Is that you can't put an MMA guy in a ring with a boxer.
Right.
Boxer will tool him up. That's what he does.
Right.
You can't put a boxer in a cage with an MMA guy. He's going to take him down to the ground, and
I
that's what
agree.
he does.
I agree.
If you want to be the best at what you're going to be, you're going to have to learn each sport. If you're going to do MMA, I don't think the guys that do MMA, they're not the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. They're not the best MMA guy, the best boxers in the world.
Right.
But they're the best MMA guys.
Right.
They learn a little bit of everything, but yet they never. Not saying that they don't master one thing. There's a couple who do.
Right.
But in general, you're not mastering everything. That's really tough to do.
Right. Well, some of them that I think are the greats at MMA, they have mastered something,
Right.
and then they started learning everything else.
Something else.
So
right.
when they're in the cage and they get to that point where they're good at what they mastered,
Exactly. Right.
they're going to dominate, and that's
Right.
what gives them the edge.
You have to have mastered something.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's the point. Right. You can't do everything. You got people who walk into the gym like, I want to be an MMA fighter.
Right.
Okay, did you box? No. Did you wrestle? No. Did you?
You do anything. Yeah.
Anything? Jiu-jitsu? No. Okay. So you want to learn it all at one time.
Right. Right.
Good luck with that.
Right, exactly. I suggest everybody either start on their feet or start on the ground.
Yeah.
Then you learn the kicks. I think later on the kicks could be developed. I'm not saying easier, but it's easier than the ground game can be developed in a proper boxing.
Yeah, I think the hardest part of it, and this is going to sound weird coming from a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to be an MMA fighter,
Yeah.
the hardest part of being an MMA fighter, I think, is you have to learn your hands
Yeah.
well. One of the things I didn't like where we were was that we had somebody who was teaching kids, and you put headgear on them, and what you're doing right away when you put headgear, and even with the kids I teach now, I don't let them spar.
Right.
Here it's different because you're bringing them up through a system that you have.
Right.
Right, and you have to bring them up a certain way. If you put a kid out there, especially a kid, and he gets hit in the head, the first thing he's going to do is start to flinch.
Yeah.
You ruined them.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that
Right.
back again. Once they start with the flinching, they don't know how to block. They don't know
Right.
how to do any
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. I don't let the
It's
kids.
so
Yeah. I don't let them spar unless they know how to defend themselves
first, right?
And then when they get in there, at least they know how to block. They know how
Right.
to slip. They know how to duck. They can create their range with their feet. There's a lot that's involved. So.
There's a lot that's involved in that. So there's more to it than just getting in there and putting on some headgear and, hey, let's spar. Because what you do is develop, it's like a golfer, right? You develop bad habits. If you've never correct those bad habits, you'll have them all the time.
Yep, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you, Joe, let's switch it up a little bit real quick. Being that you have a career, you have your business, you have, your competition. What's your daily routine like?
I get up to my wife yelling at me every morning. You didn't add that part that I'm married too. I have a wife.
Married, you have kids.
I can joke about this, right? My wife's not going to see it.
I don't know. We can block her.
Listen, first piece of jiu-jitsu advice I give all my students. So when I won, God rest his soul, I have a friend of mine that just passed away a year ago, a black belt from Soka. His name was Tom DeVivo.
Sorry about that.
Man, his struggle, very sad. But a great guy, love him to death. This whole journey that I've been on with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he was a part of that right from the beginning. And I remember I was a purple belt. He walked in as a white belt. He walks into the locker room. He tells everybody his story. And he would walk in and he sees me in the locker room. And he's like, well, this guy competing. He's a purple belt. He's about to go on to Worlds. Can I ask him some advice? Hey, Joe, you got any advice for me? Anything? Any advice? Yeah, bro. best piece of advice I could ever give you: never get fucking married. I walk out of the locker room, the kid's like, "What the fuck? Oh, I just wanted jiu-jitsu advice."
Yeah. Never get married.
Never get married. So now every student that walks in, I'm going to give you the best, most valuable piece of jiu-jitsu advice I could ever give you: never get married.
Oh man, you're funny.
But no, listen, you don't get to where you are, especially something like this that you built here and what you're doing. And with me as well, and what I have with my wife, you don't get there without your spouse, right? You have to have a spouse that's understanding to, you know, at times we become a little self-centered in what we do, and understanding and supportive.
Right.
That's the most important thing, is that you got a family that's supportive of what you do. And my wife stands behind me 100%.
Yeah,
helps with all of that.
And I see that.
So part of the day, you know, when I get up in the morning, I get up to her. You know, the things that I have to do to get ready for her, because I'm gone from 5 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. I get ready, do a little short workout for myself, do the stuff around the house that needs to be done real fast. By 6:30, I'm working on my regular job.
Okay.
And I'm working my job, and I'm on the phones, and I'm doing what I'm doing on the computer a couple times, you know, during the day, during lunch, maybe I have a private or something like that. Try to squeeze in about 30 minutes of running.
Wow.
For me, at my age, you know, I don't know if it's so much about the age, it's just so much as like, you know, habit forming, because I've done it for so many years. It's like brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth every single day and then you don't brush your teeth, you feel like dirty.
Yeah.
So I've been exercising or doing one form of working out or another my whole entire life that I can remember. Right. So if I don't run and do something or lift weights or something, then I feel like you don't feel
your best.
I don't feel right. So I squeeze that in during the day. I finish my job around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Okay. This is the same thing, 7 days a week. Well, 5 days a week.
Right.
It's still with the job.
Right.
And then I get done around 4:35. I teach classes from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and in between, somewhere, I'll train too. I get on the mat with all my students.
Right.
I roll with all of them, the kids included. On the weekends, I'm up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Is a late day for me.
Right.
And I'm back in the gym teaching until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then
Wow.
I'm home trying to make up and do the stuff around the house that you got to do, right? Because we're so busy with what we do.
So amazing.
You know, you get home, you're like, oh my God, I got the backyard. I got this. I got all the other things to do.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you do it. That's a lot.
And on Sundays, I teach privates on Sundays, and I get same thing. I try to squeeze in some open mats, some rolling.
Wow.
And do the computer end of what I need to do for the gyms and work. And somewhere along there, you know, with the COVID thing, it's kind of slowed down. But when we get back to normal, we're going to start the seminars and the benefits and charity events up again. I do a lot of work for a couple of organizations, Mission 22 and We Defy. Mission 22 is an organization that supports veterans with PTSD. 22 veterans a day die from suicide.
Okay.
So what we do, they got post-traumatic stress syndrome, so they commit suicide. We've reduced that number, I believe, to 20.
Awesome.
So we talked before about Jocko Willing, but that's how I met him at one of the events.
Right. He's involved at this.
He's involved with Mission 22 and We Defy Foundation. We Defy Foundation is veterans with physical disabilities. There's another vet. I myself am a vet. I'm a Marine.
Okay.
I'm an ex-Marine.
I don't think I knew that.
You know, I was in Marine Corps.
I'm not sure if I remember that.
Yeah, I was in Marine Corps.
So now I know.
I'm a Marine.
That's awesome. Man. That's
Former Marine. You're never a former Marine.
Right. You're always a Marine.
So I speak at a lot of them. If you go to YouTube, there's a couple of videos up there of me speaking at the Marines every year recruiting event that they have out in Eisenhower Park.
Right.
So helping the recruits get together and join the Marine Corps and help support and defend our country. But you know, we try to give back to them. Joe Bozic is part of the Mission 22 originally. Now he heads the We Defy. He lost both his legs and one of his arms in a battle in Iraq. Landmine in Iraq.
Wow.
He competes competitively still to this day in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
That's awesome.
and does CrossFit.
Wow.
As
So
well.
I'm sure he's well known.
Unbelievable. When you got anything, you could Google him, Joe Bosick. If anyone who thinks when they get up in the morning they've got a struggle, they've got problems, and you see this guy get on and off the mat and smile on his face and going at it, and you're like, I haven't got a fucking problem or a care in the world. What am I complaining about?
Yeah, man.
This guy's still out there killing it.
That's awesome.
It's unreal.
That's real inspiration,
So
man.
that's a role model right there.
Joe, what's his name? Joe Bosick?
Bosick.
Check him out, guys.
B-O-Z-I-K, Joe Bosick.
Check him out.
Just
Find him on
unreal.
Instagram. I'm sure he's out there. You guys send him a little shout.
Any chance you can get to, guys, if you can, go to We Defy Foundation or Mission 22 and contribute to anything that goes to a worthy cause. So one of the things I want to get more involved in, kind of a sensitive subject in here, a sensitive subject for me, is I also work with people who have, a lot of my students suffer from low self-esteem, or they suffer from depression.
Right.
And that's the thing with this pandemic that I think was one of the big downfalls, is for shutting the gyms, right? It wasn't just about the physical aspect, it's about the mental aspect as well. You have people who come to the gym who are using this as part of their therapy. They suffer from ADHD, or they suffer from, like I said, depression, or whatever it may be that they struggle with, anxiety. And they use this as their outlet, and now they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Over the years of teaching, the 20 or so years that I've been in the business, I've been involved with this martial arts. Is that I've lost some good friends to, suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big causes of suicide right now is they want to talk about pandemics. They don't bring up the pandemic of heroin, which is a big problem on my front. I'm really, really, really dead set against drug use.
Yeah, me too.
So one of the things out here on Long Island, I think we need to bring more awareness to is that plight.
Yeah,
So I
agree.
want to do that. I intend to do that when we get back from this this battle
That's great.
with Corona. To bring more awareness. As I lost a niece of mine to it, to heroin overdose,
Oh, that sucks.
and it's just horrible. And if it's not the heroin that kills you, then it's the depression from lack of it, and then they kill themselves. But it's just, the story doesn't end well, and I think we need to focus on that. Tell them that there's somebody here to help them,
Absolutely.
and help support them. And maybe bring some focus to the, excuse me, with your wholesome show, these scumbags and pieces of shit out there that are dealing that, I'd like to lock them in a room with me for a day.
Yeah, well, we'll find them and we'll drop them off.
5 minutes, bro. Drop them off with me.
Trust me, man. Trust me.
But,
You're bringing that up about doing that, helping people with these addictions and so forth. I have my best friend in the whole wide world. I haven't really hung out with him in 10 years, but he suffers from depression, anxiety, all that. And that brought him on to numbing himself through opiates. And, I wish I had enough money to send him somewhere just to go to, I wish, your foundation, maybe you could raise money to send people away and to get the treatments that they need, because it's more mental than anything. It's all mental. You get them to a place where they could just find themselves again, away from that.
What I've found with with the suicide, and I went to get myself certified as a counselor in that as well, is that with the suicide and with the drugs is the drug becomes, especially with that heroin, it becomes more important to them than anything else in life.
Right.
So you've got to get them somewhere where they can seek the help, but at the end of the day, they have to want to help themselves.
They got to want it too.
Right?
Yeah, they got to
it's
want
like everything we talked about success and about people in general. You got to want to say, hey, listen, I want to be a better person.
Right.
How can I be the best me that I can be? And that's when you become successful.
Yeah.
You're successful as if you're the best you.
Yep, absolutely. Besides heroin, though, it's like the opiates.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
The pills.
There's Oxycontin, all of that stuff.
Right.
That's
Some
why
people don't graduate to the heroin, but those other things are enough to keep them just down.
Yeah, it's all the same, right? It's all an opioid.
Yeah.
So it's all tough to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
we
great,
hope to
man.
Get them all help.
Yeah, hey, man. If you need my help, anything, I'd love to get involved with that.
Love it, man.
That's great.
We'll look you up, man. We'll definitely help.
Definitely.
Could use everything, man. I think it's good to, like I said, both of us want to give back to the community and the kids. And
Definitely.
that's what I think is most important. We want to be successful at what we do, but we also want that success to come from the people that we. There's no better feeling, like we were talking about the kids before,
Yeah.
than watching these young kids and
Succeed.
succeed, or they win something, or they get all excited and they're like, "Oh, this is great, man!"
Oh yeah, that's the
You
best.
get a Christmas card from the kids, and you're like, "This is the best feeling in the world."
Yeah.
The world that these kids look up to you and stuff like that.
Making impacts.
Yeah, I look back at my life, and then listen, like you said, I'm 60 years old, and I've had a lot of
Yeah.
roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I was like, back
Me
now, I
too.
think if my parents could see me when I was the 17-year-old me to now.
Yeah.
It would be
Of
like,
course.
oh no, there's no fucking way. That's the same guy. that's the Joey Thompson we know.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Man. That's
For
funny.
any of you watching this that knew me from the 80s, it's not that Joey Thompson.
No, man. Nah, you're known. You're very well known for what you do now, man. That's great. And you're going to compete this Saturday.
This Saturday, World Championships in Florida. I'm competing in Kissimmee, Florida, at the Silver Spur Arena.
Nice, man.
Which, it's a beautiful place, huge. It's just a shame you can't have anybody in there.
I know.
You got corner people, and it's the
know.
people competing in there, so we can't have any fans.
Right.
But it's still it shows that even through the pandemic, you can work through anything.
That's right.
This
Can't let it hold
pandemic
you back.
was just a whole big thing.
Yeah, let's touch on that. You
Yeah,
know,
let's do it, man.
That's actually a huge part of what happened to us. We both have, I have a boxing gym. You
Yeah.
have a jiu-jitsu school. And during the lockdown, when it started to happen, you were actually opening up your new facility. Right.
Lucky me, yeah.
So what happened?
So when we left where we were years ago, and I opened up a small place, and it was about 1,800 square feet, and it was there for 4 years, and it built, and it was about building, and it was great, and we started to get crowded,
Yeah.
and then you get all the parents, and you get everybody saying, you should get a bigger place, you get a bigger place, and as yourself, me and you, we dream big,
Yeah.
right? It's good to dream. It's better to dream and be able to act on your dreams,
Right.
and try to pursue them. Don't just dream, go and pursue it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about you. You pursue your dreams.
Yes, sir.
And whether you reach them or don't, that's what makes you a champion. You're a
don't
champion
matter.
by pursuing it.
That's it.
And that's what I've tried to do as well. So I saw, you know what? I wanted to add a little bit of the boxing part to it. I want to add some of the, a little bit of the MMA
Fitness.
portion, the fitness end of it to it. So I rented a 7,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
And I started to build in it. And then all of a sudden, the biggest pandemic ever.
You never know. That's like the only
once
thing.
in a lifetime pandemic. And I'm like, I'm bugged.
Holy shit.
Thank goodness for our wonderful governor who supported us and gave us all the endorsements that we needed in finances. I need to keep my gym open.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not going to get political. I'm sorry. Fuck you. Piece of shit. But anyway.
That's it.
Yeah, but then the struggles began. But like it's in anything, you dust yourself off. You get up
Yeah.
off the ground, and you keep going ahead.
Right.
And one of the things that was important to me was to show the kids and to show the people around me and other people in our industry that that we could still succeed and go
Yeah.
forward. I got involved with, and as you did as well, with Charlie Casara and the New York Fitness Group, was it Fitness Exchange Group?
NYFC.
He's changed the name a
on
couple of
Facebook.
times.
Right,
I can't
yeah.
keep track for an NYFC, but he's doing his part too to bring
Absolutely.
awareness to the situation. And he's out there, and they're pushing away, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
It's
so-
important that we all get together and
we stay together.
defend what we're doing, because what we're
our
doing,
livelihoods, right?
Exactly. You can't take away something that we've built our lives to do,
Right.
to support our families and do what we love, to give back to the community. You can't just take that away
can't
from
do
us
it, yeah.
without helping us.
Listen, I can get into the whole political thing.
Mm. Yeah,
and
we
the
could
whole
get deep.
Republican deep, and I'm not.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. The virus is very real.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that the virus is very real.
Right.
But you can't destroy small business either. But I'm not one of the guys who are on the other side of the. You either got two extremes. You're like, fuck it, I'm not going to wear my mask and fuck everything else. I don't give a shit about it. I'm over it.
Right.
And you got, well, I'm not leaving the house. I'm going to live in fear. I'm going
Right.
to live in like, oh my God, I got to walk with my mask. Don't come near me.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you're living in fear, you're not living.
Right.
You might as well just not live. A whole year of your life has gone by, and you're not going to live. You're never going to get that back.
That's right.
You know, you got to live.
Gotta live.
You know, but you still have to be somewhat considerate and, you know, knowledgeable of not to affect other people and not to. If wearing a mask is going to make people more comfortable, if it does stop it or it doesn't stop it, I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
You know, I'll wear the mask if I have to. You know, around the people I'm comfortable with, I'm sure that I'll be okay if I ever caught it, and if I'm not, then that's God's will.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
that's the way it is. But to protect others, I don't want to infect anybody either. You know,
Right.
in the business that we're in right now, we need to be worried about other people because we don't want anybody out there. And we do what we need to do, right? We disinfect. You walk into my gym, and I walked into yours just now. You get the signs everywhere. You get the 6 foot social distancing. You got the hand sanitizer every couple of feet.
Yeah, I got them all over you.
You know? So, you know, and I have the place, you know, I have people come in 3 times a week and they spray. And we do, I have it fogged.
Okay.
Just to have everybody comfortable.
Yeah,
Whether or not it does or doesn't work, I don't think anybody knows enough about it yet.
Yeah.
To know whether or not that stuff is really.
Well, the numbers that they're showing that gyms really don't.
No. So that was the good thing, again, part of that organization, again, being part of the New York Fitness Exchange, right?
Right.
Is that all of us started to register our numbers. And that's the great thing about what we do. When you walk in, you check in.
Yep.
Gyms, you know, combative sports places, you have a check-in. So I can check in everybody. And I'm following the guidelines.
Yep.
You know, so I know that you're signing your release, your COVID release every day, and you got everybody in there. And if, God forbid, anybody got sick, I knew.
Yep. Same here.
And what were the numbers? Somewhere close to 5 million. And so, what?
I don't even know.
Reported cases?
4.
4 reported cases in over 4 million. And none of those 4 cases originated in a gym
Right.
or a combative sports place, martial arts school, or boxing place.
Right.
As ours. None of them.
Yeah. My school. I think we have over 3,000 check-ins since we were allowed to open, and not one person has ever had it.
Right.
And you know, I'm lucky, I'm grateful, but it just goes to show that gyms aren't a spreader. So
Right.
they gotta the government has to keep in mind that look, we're a small business that is keeping people healthy, keeping them sane, and leave us alone. That's it. Leave us alone, man.
Or help.
Yeah, or help
help.
us. Yeah, man. If
Or help
you're
us.
gonna shut us down,
Don't-
really
give
give us
something
help.
to keep us going.
Yeah.
I mean, and give the people that we help. Like I said before, the gym industry and what we do is not just about fitness.
Right.
Right. And, which I would think fitness and being in shape would help combat a virus or a flu or anything, right?
Yeah, keeps you
If you're
stronger.
overweight, the people who are getting sick or people who are overweight, people who have, you know, underlying conditions. So fitness does help. If you take care of your body, it does help.
Yeah.
From a mental side, though, you have a lot of people who need this as their therapy. Don't abandon them totally.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They just shut everything down and abandoned those people, and they abandoned small business.
Yeah.
A lot of these, you know, it's a shame. I watch the good and the bad, right? The good thing about it was it brought us all together as an industry.
Yeah.
So even though, you know, other jiu-jitsu places might be down the block
Yeah.
from my place, you know, we all band together and help each other.
Yeah, man.
And you got to keep
That's what it's
keep it
about.
alive, man. You got to just keep it alive. And listen, you know, being competitive or, you know, being in business against it is good. It's helpful to everybody, right? Competition's good.
Absolutely. Sparks a
Right?
fire.
Sparks a fire.
It makes you want to work harder to keep your space, you know, better and keep your customers happier.
That's why we compete.
Yeah.
That's why I still compete at 60 years old.
You know,
Competition makes you want to push even more.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you go down a car block with car dealerships, there's one right after the other. Why? But it's not because, you know, the car dealership next door opened up and said, oh my God, there's a car dealership next door. I'm not going to be able to sell a car now.
No.
No, you're going to bring those people in. They're going to want to see that.
Yep,
This
yep.
is a place where I go to buy a car.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody comes around.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I feel like, you know, as anybody who's a competitor takes their competitive spirit into their business is successful. So I find, like, I think everything I do is like, I'm not in competition with anybody else, but competition with how far I can take something.
Right.
Like that's what you do.
And that's why we help each other stay alive. Right?
Yeah.
We all help each other that way.
Yeah.
And so, one of the good things that came from this. The bad thing is that when they keep starting to shut things down, it's gonna reach a point where you can't pay the
Yeah,
bills.
man. I mean, like currently, so this week on the news, de Blasio had said that New York City don't be, what am I looking for, that word? Don't be surprised if there's another lockdown across the state. How do we keep going at that point? You know what I mean?
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you, but when they came out with all these funds, I didn't get PPE. I couldn't get.
Right.
I
Me
don't have
neither.
employees.
Me neither.
You can't get PPE. So a lot of those funds, and there were so many big organizations and businesses that were getting the money.
Millions.
And millions.
They don't need that.
Millions, and they don't need it.
Right.
And they were getting it, and then little mom and pop that we're running, to try and stay alive. They didn't get shit.
I know.
It's just not right.
They didn't get nothing.
It's not
And,
right, but
I'm lucky. I had an amazing first year. It's my community. I opened my gym in my neighborhood that I grew up in. So I was able to be successful out the gate. So I had savings, thank God, that I was able to tap into. I have a good landlord. Shout out to Anthony, thank you. But it worked out for me where I was able to survive through that time without the PPP.
Yeah.
But I don't think that if they shut us down again, it's something that it'll be tougher.
It'd be tough for me. My landlord isn't as cooperative, and so that's the way it is for a lot of people out there right now. And it's just it would be tough to make it through again. I mean, the good thing for me is you give a shout out to the landlord, I give a shout out to all my members.
Me too.
Because the members, a lot of the members, when we shut down, said, "Hey, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
I want you to be there when it's time to come back.
That's
I
awesome.
want it there."
That's awesome.
And at a certain point, you can't. I couldn't take.
Yeah.
It seems like we work a deal where I put everything on the back end, but that was just when you give. Like we said before, when you give back, it always comes back.
Yeah.
Right? It comes back. So you give to the community, and the community wants you around. They know that you're a benefit, not just a business.
No.
That you're a benefit to the community and helping others grow properly. So they wanted to keep you there. Your members will stay there, and they'll support you.
Yeah, and I have to say the same thing. My members were amazing through the time. We did a little GoFundMe, and everybody supported, and that helped get by for a little bit as well.
It's
So
great. It's good. It was good, and I can't thank them enough, my memberships. Thank you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah, love you guys. Seriously, thank you. That's awesome, man. So I think we touched on a lot, man. Are we? I mean, anything else? What do you got? What else you got going on aside from jiu-jitsu? I mean,
that's really besides the jiu-jitsu, I don't have much more time.
Yeah, right.
With all my spare time, in my spare time, I got.
In your spare time, man.
It's, raising my daughters and who are
family man.
It's my girls. They're Tony Ray and Darian, 28 and 23, and Tony Ray now is training with me as well.
Awesome,
Real
man.
good kickboxer. You ever come down here and you put it through the ropes?
Definitely, man.
I actually, like I said, I was telling you outside before. I have a couple of kids who are just real good hands. They want to do more on the boxing. I'm going to send them over your way.
Yeah, man, do it.
Work something out. Have the kids going, but I got some guys that really could use some good instruction.
Okay.
But then, like I said, I give the basics.
Right.
They want to pursue it, and they're good.
All right.
They're good.
Well, we'll make sure we give them the right tutelage, and I know, anybody that comes my way that wants to do, jiu-jitsu, I'm sending them to you because
love you, man.
You're the best, and I want to make sure they get the right attention.
And everybody come down to Strong Island Boxing, man. This man's the man.
Yeah,
He's the man. I love this kid, man.
Thank you.
Kristian, I wish you nothing but the best in whatever your endeavors are, man. You are just one great kid, man.
Thank you,
great
man.
guy, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Best
I feel the same.
One of the good things that came out of, we were both out of another gym, originally Unique.
Yep.
Fitness. Love Steve Smith. Nothing against Steve, but the other person that was there I was not a fan of his. But the best thing that came out was I got to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here, brother.
To you, man. And you're an amazing person, and I wish you all the
Oh,
best.
same to you, man. And that's why I had him on the show, because I feel the same way about him, man. Thank you, Joe. But Joe,
Thanks for having me.
before we go, let everybody know how they can find you. So if they want to know more about you, your school, let them know how they can find you.
You can go on to www.lockdownbjj. Great name, right? Lockdown during the lockdown. It's like, what?
That's awesome.
I had people walking by my storefront in the new school,
Yeah.
and you can see through, and I had the display up with all the T-shirts, and they sold lockdown.
Yeah.
People were running in to buy the lockdown shirts just because it was a lockdown.
That's pretty cool, man. I like it, but you know what? It makes sense, in the time.
Come to lockdown during the lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And on Instagram, you on Instagram at all?
I'm on Instagram. You can find me Lockdown BJJ on Instagram, and you can find me under either Joseph Thompson or Lockdown Brazilian Jiu Jitsu on Facebook as well.
Okay.
And like I said, www.lockdownbjj.
Right.
On YouTube, I have a YouTube channel as well.
Awesome.
Lockdown BJJ and Joe Thompson.
Okay.
And we're located at 749 Hawkins Avenue in Ronkonkoma, New York. Please come down.
Yeah.
If you say you saw this podcast, give you a discount.
Oh, there you go. You got a discount from the podcast. Awesome, man. Well, listen, good luck this weekend. I know you're going to do awesome. I know you're going to take first place. I'm saying it now. You got this. But good luck this weekend.
Give it my all, man. Leave it on the mat. I love you, Chris. Thank you
I
very
love you
much
too,
for having me,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the third episode of the Kristian Vasquez Show with the awesome Joe Thompson. Guys, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and you guys will know when my next episode comes up. But you guys have a great one. Peace.